And we're going to probably dive in more thoroughly on Thursday. But Cole, is there anybody off the top of your head that you just mentioned? Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I mean, this has been the last several years, the last almost decade of Ravens preseason games where they win so many of these damn games. You don't really end up with guys playing too poorly. But honestly, I was going through the O-line film today into the second team that played on Saturday, and I was just shocked at how poorly Andrew Voorhees played. I'm really not trying to pile on him. Even on the Adam Randall touchdown, he straight up whiffed and ended up blocking no one, ended up almost turning in a circle. Just did not play well, did not move bodies, gave up a few pressures. I think he really, this is a bottom of the roster spot, like we've discussed, but he's got some guaranteed money on his restructured contract. So I don't really know how it's going to work. But I just I don't, to see him get worse is the big concern to me. He doesn't have positional flexibility to kind of be that game day active guy that can, play multiple positions. I suggested before the game, similar to what they did with Ben Cleveland when they had him lined up at center and right tackle in the preseason. I thought maybe they'd put Voorhees out at tackle to show that off. And I think he definitely hurt his case. But that's really there's a couple players on the D line that I was disappointed with. I didn't really see a major impact from Aeneas Peebles that I was hoping to see. There's examples like that, but then, did anyone hurt their case more than Tyler Loop? That missed field goal, I know he's 1 for 2, but how bad did that feel as a Ravens?
Jeff, you guys asked Jesse about it today. And in part, after talking about some stadium conditions, he said, I feel good about where Tyler's at. I think he's at a really good camp. Obviously, it comes down to making him in those situations. So we'll keep trying to put him out there as much as we can. To Cole's point, he missed from 49, pushed it right in the first quarter, came back in the second half, converted from 42, no kickoff issues, no extra point issues. Your thoughts on Tyler as we get ready for week 2 of the preseason, Jeff? Has it changed at all than it did last week? You essentially said he's going to lose, right? If you make him, it's, hey, you haven't done it in high leverage yet.
Yeah.
We're fired up about a brand new partnership, and it is with our friends at SeatGeek. It's the time where everybody starts looking at the calendar. We get it, and all of you guys probably get it too. Which Ravens game am I pulling up to this year? I'm sure you're asking yourself something along those lines. Whether it's a big AFC North matchup, a primetime game at the bank, or even a road trip, who knows? SeatGeek makes it super easy to find tickets. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, and they have more than 70,000 events listed. We're talking concerts, sports, festivals, and everything in between. And one of the best parts is how simple they make it to know if you're actually getting a good deal. Every ticket is rated on a scale from 1 to 10, so you know what you're looking at right away. Green dots, good deal. Red dots, bad deal. So when you're trying to get into a Ravens game without overpaying, SeatGeek has your back. And every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, so you can buy with confidence. And of course, if you use code Collective10, that's Collective10, you'll get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. Again, that's 10% off any tickets with the promo code Collective10. Click the link that we have in the description, download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it for later.
And if you miss them,
and it's where we are now.
Yeah, get him out of here. Yeah, look, I think he's handled it really well, but here's what I did not like. He immediately brought up his kicking stats in practice during the post-game interview. He mentioned he's been 42 of 44 in practice. And I think this kid's been accountable. He's been upfront about everything and hasn't dodged at all. He's been willing to talk. I applaud him for that. But I don't think anybody wants to hear about his practice kicking stats. I don't think it's the right approach that he kind of has those numbers ready to put out and to say. So yeah, he has been kicking well in practice. That speaks for itself, but he's always kicked well in practice. And that's not the concern. I mean, you got to step up and make them when they count. So I'm of the stage of, like one miss of well, I know, these day and age, 49 yarders or whatever. Was it 49 or 46? 49. 49 inside 50 has to be almost automatic for these guys. That's how well they are making them. And elements weren't an issue that I know of. It wasn't windy night and the field wasn't chewed up. I don't think. I didn't hear that. So he's got to make them, and he really opened the door. And again, this guy was already operating with little margin of error. He misses one in Minnesota inside 50 or in a certain situation, and it's almost like, at some point they're going to have no other choice to bring in somebody, because this is not going away. The fans have already made it up their mind. The majority of the fans have already made up their minds about Tyler Loop. And he's in an unenviable situation. I've said that all along. But that's what happens when you miss a kick of that magnitude. I think the kid will be a good kicker in the NFL, but there's so much scar tissue now here in Baltimore, and there's so much angst kicking for the Ravens and everything that's happened, that it's a tough situation to be in. And they're going to need to figure out quick whether they've shown him, they've been over the top in their display of faith, and Randy Brown and all that. They've done really well by him, and they believe in him, and they've showed that. But again, at some point, every miss is going to become a story, and it's going to be hard to overlook if he misses more this preseason.
Daniel Carlson, where's his get his number ready?
Emia says, are they looking to bring in another kicker, or are we set in stone on Loop? I know he had an awful start to the preseason. Unfortunately, we've been talking about this. And kicker news, guys, for what it's worth, the Commanders are riding with their rookie. Jake Moody was released earlier today. He's a veteran with several years of experience under his belt. But, again, I think, Jeff, nothing really.
Yeah, I mean, look, they have a list. They'll have a list at every position. When we need a guy, we'll bring in these guys for a look. And the names are out there. Prater's available. Carlson's available. Jake Moody is now available. It looks like Graham Gano is out there, I think. So who's out there. I imagine they're aware of their situation and whether they want to play and all that. Tyler Loop's job is to keep them from making that phone call, because the second they do try out kickers, it's going to feel like the beginning of the end, that they're finally not all aboard. And that's when it becomes a slippery slope there.